Hi team, how's it going? Happy Tuesday. I'm coming in here with another Tuesday talk, and I had 3 meals out at restaurants this past weekend. So let's see, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all for birthdays, anniversaries, and special occasions. And don't get me wrong, I do not eat out at restaurants, hardly ever. It was kind of a fluke, and I had some ideas of how to help you out when you eat out at restaurants, but you don't want to blow your progress. So at least here in Australia, our regulations are lessening as far as lockdown and staying at home. And restaurants are allowed to have up to 20 customers as long as we're social distancing, etc. And things are starting to open back up again. And so I'm not sure about US when that's happening, but that's definitely happening here in Australia. And so that's probably something that you're gonna wanna do. You're gonna wanna get out of the house, have a nice meal that you don't have to cook yourselves and you don't have to clean up from. And so I just wanna give you a couple strategies to eat out while not blowing your progress. I have 5 different things for you. I'll give you a little outline. First up, number 1, look up the menu ahead of time. Number 2, always prioritize protein. Number 3, surf the disappointment. Number 4, what about alcohol? And number 5, always take a doggy bag. So all those 5 things, these are kind of just my strategies that I do automatically whenever I go to a restaurant. However, I don't think it's automatic for everyone. So I kind of want to show you what my process is. First off, if I'm going to a new restaurant that I've never been before, you're better bet that I'm gonna look up the menu ahead of time, because I like food and I get super stressed out when I'm looking at a menu because I'm like, I want everything. I don't know what I want. There's the pressure of the waiter coming. There's the pressure of the people you're with, like, are you ready to order yet? All that. And I'm like, I just wanna take my time and choose something that I want to choose that's healthy. So I usually look up the menu, whether or not I decide what I'm going to eat beforehand, I don't know, but I usually look up the menu just to see what I'm getting into, what kind of foods they offer, what the prices are, etc. So that's one way to lessen the anxiety around menus if you're like me and you get there and you kind of go paralysis by analysis, too many options. Number 2 is prioritize protein. So when you make your selection of what meal you want, make sure whatever meal that you're eating has a large serving of protein, preferably animal protein, but if you're vegan, then obviously plant protein. So I always choose based on, okay, am I gonna get a big serving of, like, say, fish or chicken or beef? Is that gonna be part of this meal? Am I actually gonna get my protein allotment when I eat this meal? So that means, for me, usually dishes that are really high in starches and not super high in protein will probably be out the window. So I'm probably not gonna get a ton of pasta dishes, fried rice, and those kind of things, unless, again, they have a lot of protein. So that's my first thing. Do they have protein? Second is, okay, what's the veggies like? Because, usually a healthier meal will have a little bit more veggies in it. So I usually look at those options and I try to make the best decision based on what is on the menu. Back in the US, when I was still living in the US, I always looked at the salad menu first because I'm a weirdo and I actually really, really like salads, but getting a big ass salad with protein and all the veggies, like, that's my go-to. Here in Australia, however, that is not the case. They do not serve big ass salads. They're pretty much like side dishes. They don't include protein. They're usually like arugula with Parmesan cheese and pear, and that's like the whole salad. And so it's not a meal. So I don't suggest that you get a salad if it's not a full meal. Like, you need to be full, you need to be satisfied. So if it's a salad, that's cool. If it's not, that's fine too. You don't have to get salad. But do try to make the best choice available that also tastes pretty good. Okay, and that brings us to number 3, which is surfing the disappointment. I got this term from Jill Coleman at Jill Fit. She teaches a lot about moderation and how to diet without going crazy. And she calls it surfing the disappointment, because if you order something that's healthy, that's gonna make you feel good, that's also gonna not mess up your progress, you might feel a bit disappointed at first. And what I mean by that is, if you choose, say, crispy skinned salmon with roasted chapped potatoes and some sort of puree, like, that sounds delicious. However, in the moment, that might not sound as delicious as a pizza or as that pasta carbonara or whatever other food that might be a little bit more high calorie, high starch, low protein. So at first, you might feel a bit disappointed. You might feel like, dang, I don't want to get this when I'm eating at a restaurant. Well, they're getting, chicken and waffles, and I'm getting healthy protein and veggies. So you might actually feel that like little pang of FOMO. If you don't know what FOMO means, it's fear of missing out, FOMO. You might get that little FOMO right after you order. And it only lasts a little bit. You have to surf that disappointment, meaning you have to be like okay with it being a little uncomfortable, okay with being a little bit like meh right after you eat. Once the food comes and you eat the food and it's delicious and you feel satisfied and you feel proud of the decision that you made, you probably won't have that disappointment anymore. That's, of course, if the meal is actually really tasty. So just be aware that if you are making a healthy decision that maybe you wouldn't make when you're not dieting, you might feel that, but it will go. It will only be like 5 minutes of, oh, that sucks, and then that's it, that's all. You'll probably feel fine after you eat. All right, number 4, what about alcohol? And so going out to eat, alcohol's probably part of the festivities, probably part of like the celebration, or like going out to eat at a fancy restaurant, you want to get a wine pairing, etc. So how I deal with alcohol is if I'm going to be drinking alcohol with that meal, I will opt for a meal that is lower in carbohydrates. So again, probably not something starchy like pasta. So it'll be more protein and veggies if I'm doing the alcohol, because alcohol actually adds a lot of calories, not just calories from sugar or the mixers, but alcohol itself is its own macronutrient. I don't know if you know this, 7 calories per gram of alcohol. Okay, so we still have quite a few calories in that alcoholic beverage, and your body will prioritize metabolizing out that alcohol over burning fat, all right? So it's technically a poison, so your body's gonna have to deal with this poison, and it's gonna put fat loss on halting it right there. So if you do choose to have alcohol, probably only do 1, and also maybe have a lower calorie meal. And basically, if you want to do a dessert, I would say I wouldn't do alcohol and a dessert. I would do either or, and just kind of make that choice before you go in what you're gonna do. And number 5, the last one, is always get a doggy bag. I love that term, doggy bag. I don't know where it came from or why we say it, but have the waiter or waitress box up half the meal for you. Especially if you know they're gonna be massive meals. If you've been to this restaurant before and there's massive portions, before you even start eating, just box up some and save it for later. And this is a practice in not eating everything, not clearing your plate all the time. And if you're like me, that's a massive habit that I've had to break over the years from my childhood of always clearing my plate. So even when I go to a restaurant, I'm always clearing my plate and eating way, way too much and feeling sick and full and gross because I gotta get like my money's worth, right? You're at a restaurant. So get used to packing up the leftovers, and even if you literally eat it as soon as you get home, that's okay. Just get used to not eating every single scrap, right? I don't mind. Take it home, eat it when you get home. Take it home, eat it later that night. Take it home, have it for lunch the next day. Whatever, but getting in the practice of getting out of that scarcity mode where I have to eat it all right now and taking some home for later, and then just again, serve that disappointment. You don't have to eat it all right now. We can eat it all later. No food is scarce. There's an abundance of food, and I can do this. Okay, so those are my 5 tips. Number 1, look up the menu ahead of time. Number 2, prioritize protein, probably also vegetables. Number 3, surf the disappointment. Number 4, choosing alcohol wisely. And number 5, always get a doggy bag. Okay, if you have any other tips of what you do to eat out at restaurants that help keep you on track without going crazy and ordering something bland and disgusting, let me know. Put them in the comments. I want to hear from you. If you have any questions about this, of course, send me a message, send me a comment. I want to know. All right, I hope you have a fabulous day, and I'll talk to you soon.